A scripture scholar I once read suggested that instead of calling today's gospel parable the story of the prodigal son, a more apt title would be the story of the prodigal father. Now, that suggestion prompted me to look up the word prodigal in the dictionary. I found it interesting this past week as I prepared this homily that when I asked a number of people, including students of theology, what the word prodigal meant, none really knew for sure. Some thought it meant repentant, others forgiving. Neither definition, however, appears in the dictionary. The dictionary proposes two very distinct meanings of the word prodigal, one negative, the other positive. Prodigal can either mean exceedingly or recklessly wasteful or extremely generous. On first reading, today's gospel parable may appear to be a story about an exceedingly, recklessly wasteful younger brother who loses everything, repents, and returns home to an understanding and loving, to say the least, father, who throws a wonderful party in his honor, thus bringing the story to a wonderful climax, a wonderful conclusion. Right? Not exactly. For in fact, as we know, the story continues. The real climax, and hence the real point of the story, is yet to come. The elder son, the obedient son, the hard-working son, the self-righteous son, all duly noted, no doubt, by the self-righteous Pharisees and scribes listening to Jesus tell this parable, the self-righteous elder son learns that his prodigal, recklessly wasteful younger brother has returned home after losing his share of the inheritance, and that his father, acting as if nothing had happened, is throwing a party in his honor. The elder son is furious. How can my father be so foolish, so ridiculous, so hopelessly irresponsible, so generous toward that good-for-nothing brother of mine that he throws a party for him? What gives? He lost everything, and he can just say he's sorry and walk back into our lives as if nothing happened? It's not fair. The all too familiar cry of siblings. It's not fair. Full of bitterness and anger, the elder son says to his father, I have worked and slaved for you all my life. I've obeyed all your orders, yet you never gave me so much a kid goat to celebrate with my friends. Then when this son of yours returns after having gone through your property with prostitutes, you kill the fatted calf for him. It's not fair. My son, replies the father, you are with me always, and all I have is yours. This brother of yours was dead and has come back to life. He was lost and is found. We had to celebrate and rejoice. End of the story. So what is this story about? If the climax of the story means anything, then this parable is less about a prodigal son, exceedingly recklessly wasteful brother, who, when all else fails, repents and decides to return home, than about a father who is prodigal, who is extremely generous in bestowing love and forgiveness, grace and mercy. To those listening to this story, those self-righteous, ever-obedient, law-abiding, judgmental scribes and Pharisees who complained that Jesus eats with sinners, to them Jesus is saying, when you hear me speak about God as Father, if you scribes and Pharisees think in terms of justice and fairness, you will never fathom what I am talking about. For God, who is love, thinks in terms of love. And if you say, that's not fair, God says, yes, that may be so, but who's talking fair? I'm talking love. The God of Jesus is not someone out to get us, not someone waiting to pounce upon us. No, the God of Jesus is a prodigal father, a wildly overindulgent father who is so extremely generous in loving us, in forgiving us, in seeking us out, that it's almost too incredible to believe. And we are called to live that same love. Like the family we hear about in this parable, most of us have faced pain or disappointments within our own families. Maybe you've been hurt by a parent. Maybe a spouse has cheated on you. Maybe your son or daughter-in-law's parents have spoken ill of you. Maybe your in-laws remain aloof, uncaring. Maybe your brother or sister hurt you in the past, and it's been years since you've spoken. We've all had our family difficulties and struggles, and we may find ourselves angry, bitter, upset. We refuse to forgive. We refuse to give someone a second chance. But the parable Jesus tells today is not meant just for the scribes and Pharisees. It is meant for you and for me. If you're going to come forward to receive the Eucharist, sinners that we all are, yet forgiven by Jesus, you have to go forth from here and welcome others back as well. You dare to come forward to accept the invitation to take and eat. Yet you also have to forgive. You also have to offer a second chance. Yesterday's football game left most of us disappointed, of course. But a sure victory is here at this table. If you do the right thing, if you do the courageous thing, if you do the Christian thing, you will truly celebrate the greatest of victories.